Rochester with Matt Rinaldi.
Good morning and welcome back. A very interesting, very explosive topic on the Phil Donahue Show. A very important topic, as a matter of fact, and we've decided that we will do a follow-up this morning to the Phil Donahue Show. Phil presented the so-called gay prom couple. I would like to introduce my two guests, speaking on behalf of the gay community in Rochester. First of all, I'll introduce you to Tim Salley, who is here not only representing the gay community, but also Dignity, Integrity, Rochester. Welcome to our program, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Sue Cowell is here. Sue has been a member of this, or I shouldn't say a member, but rather a guest on this program before. She is past co-president of Gay Alliance in Rochester and also now very much involved with Rising Productions in Rochester. Throughout the morning, we will find out more about Dignity, Integrity of Rochester and Rising Productions of Rochester as well. But first of all, Tim, I'd like to just start off the program by asking your opinion of what we saw on the Donahue Show today.
Well, I think it's very important that Aaron and Paul pointed out the fact that there are very few services for gay youth. It seems like people that young who realize that they are gay have very few alternatives. They're too young to be in gay bars or any other meeting places. So it turns out that organizations in the heterosexual community are very reluctant and ill-prepared to deal with gay youth.
Why is that?
Well, there's a lot of fear and apprehension on the part of the straight community on dealing with gay issues.
Oh, in other words, they could be accused of being exploitive of the young people.
That's right. And on the part of the gay community, there's very little outreach to gay youth because naturally when they do some type of outreach to gay youth, the rest of society thinks that we're proselytizing the youth and so forth, which is entirely untrue.
Yeah. Sue, what's your opinion of what we saw today?
Well, I have to give the two young men a lot of credit. I think that one thing that we need to keep in perspective was their age. They're 18, and that I think that it was a very big decision on their part to really have the courage of their convictions to go to this prom. And I feel that, I hope that they'll give courage to a lot of other people to do similar things, to just feel comfortable and to try and make their own place for themselves. I think that the problem of dealing with gay youth in Rochester is very similar to a lot of the points that were brought up in that show in terms of people just feeling uncomfortable with dealing with gay youth, and the fact that, as Tim pointed out, there just aren't a lot of services and there are not a lot of social outlets for them, so that they're very much left on their own. And it's difficult enough growing up these days and be a gay youth. It really puts an extra burden on people to cope with.
I think generally teenagers, young people, are talking about their sexuality in general. It's especially disturbing to a lot of people when this newfound sexuality and statement happens to reflect all facets of society, and so now we see some young gay people coming along. I think it was interesting on the program that the young people said, look, this isn't something we chose, it wasn't something we elected. How do you feel about that? How does a person know that he's gay, or when does the person recognize it in himself? Sue?
Oh, that's such an individual issue. I think for some people they do know when they're very young. It's just a feeling. For other people, it's more an intellectual process that you sort through as you become a young adult, and you're dealing with, I think there are some gay people who have had heterosexual experiences, and they look at that and they analyze it and say, well, this really doesn't feel right. What other options are there? And I think that's one of the problems with when you don't have good role models for being gay. All you see is a heterosexual role model, and that doesn't feel right, but you don't know what your other options are. So I think for some people, there's an intellectual process. For some people, it's just purely an emotional thing that it's just a gut feeling that they have. They just know they're gay from the time that they're very young.
Tim, would you have any recommendations or advice for parents who may feel that this is something that they have to deal with, that their child perhaps has come to them, or that they recognize homosexuality in their own family? Are there any services for parents, if not for the children in this community?
Well, for parents dealing with the issue, right now there is no Parents of Gays organization in Rochester. There used to be, but as far as I know, it disbanded. There's just been general talk within Dignity Integrity of getting together some of the parents of the members of our organization for an informal weekly talk session to talk out their feelings, because it's strange. A lot of focus is placed on gay people themselves who are isolated and don't have the opportunity to communicate with one another. But parents are isolated also. Somebody who knows that they have a gay child, where do they go? And right now, the possibilities are very limited here in Rochester. And we hope to get another Parents of Gays group started.
Was this the right thing to do you think, the two young men making the statement that they made by seeking a court order to attend this prom together as a gay couple?
Well, as they stated, that's their right as an American to make choices that they feel are right for themselves. And regardless of the threat of violence or backlash, it's something that has to be dealt with. For too long, people were afraid to admit who they were and make positive actions on that. And as Sue said, you have to give these two a lot of courage for standing up for what they believe in and forging ahead with going ahead to the prom.
We hear an awful lot about role modeling when we talk about homosexuality, whether it be a homosexual teacher who apparently has influence over his class, or in the case of these two young people, having influence over their peers. What do you think of that, Sue? Is that a valid criticism, that there might be some, that they might influence their peers?
Well, I mean, in terms of
going to the
being
prom,
gay
making
and
a
then,
statement saying, hey, this is what I am.
No, I think that it really takes a lot more than just having a role model to say, well, I'm gay because, you know, I see these people and therefore I identify with them and I must be gay. I think the role models that we talk about in the gay community are people who just feel good about themselves, just like any teacher can have an influence on a student in terms of motivating them, making them feel good about themselves, just getting them in touch with their own strengths and their own talents. And I don't think really that one person can have that much influence over another. There are just so many factors that go into the way a person develops. It's not just your teachers or your peers or your family. There's just so many influences that I don't believe that one person can have that much influence over another.
I think at this point, we'll take a break in just a minute. I know you're anxious to make a statement of your own, speaking to our viewers now, or ask a question of our guests. I'd like you to know something of Dignity and Integrity of Rochester, which Tim Salley represents. Could you tell us something about your organization, Tim?
Well, Dignity Integrity Rochester was founded 5 years ago. It's a joint chapter of the organizations of Dignity and Integrity, Dignity being for Roman Catholics and Integrity for Episcopalians. We're an ecumenical organization with outreach to, but not limited to, the gay community. A lot of people in the gay community like to think of us as a gay church. We're not a gay church. We're an organization that has people coming to it who have been wounded both emotionally and spiritually by the very church that they loved and grew up in. We hope to help these people reconcile their Christianity and their orientation, hopefully to the point where they can go back to the main church.
Where do you worship?
We have a Mass every Sunday at 5 p.m. at St. Luke's Church downtown. And we offer a variety of services to the gay community. mass, coffee hour, religious retreat.
What kind of reaction is there in the spiritual community, let's say, or the Roman Catholic or Episcopal community toward gays?
It's,
do they embrace you wholeheartedly, 100%, or are you still held at an arm's length?
We're still held at an arm's length. I think there's most of the mainline churches in the United States have gay organizations or gay caucuses within them to help the church deal with this issue in a more sensitive and intelligent manner.
But at least they haven't kicked you into the streets and said, no, don't come here to worship.
That was the attitude in the past of you're not wanted. Now churches are facing the growing insight that homosexual orientation is a constitutional and irreversible factor in most cases. And they're saying, if that's the case, we still want you to come and worship with us.
Great. How about Rising Productions? What's that all about, Sue?
Well, Rising Productions is a woman-run theater and concert production company, and we're trying to present alternative types of cultural entertainment for the Rochester community, and also we have begun touring around New York State and trying to present really educational theater for people and dealing with feminist issues, gay issues, the type of theater that you would not normally have presented to you. Some more obscure types of works, and basically by women writers.
Have you done anything in Rochester yet?
Yes, we have. We've done a production called A Late Snow by Jane Chambers, and it's a story about 5 women. We did Save Me a Place at Forest Lawn by Louise Yerby, and it's a really nice one-act play about 2 women in their 80s, just talking about their friendships and the love between 2 people and the support.
Where do you put on your productions?
We really use a variety of formats because of the variety of the types of shows that we present. We can't just use one theater. So we have done them in churches. At Snake Sisters Cafe, which is a woman-run vegetarian restaurant. At the
So wherever you can find a stage and an audience.
We just started in February of this year, so we had a spring season with 2 plays and several concerts, and now the summer is being spent on organizing. In the fall, we'll come back with a full schedule again.
Good. Okay, we'll come back. Tim Salley, Sue Cowell, right after this, and we'll take your calls. Turn the volume down on your set first if you plan to give us a call.
For 5,000 years, the Oriental carpet has intrigued mankind. Today, its mystical powers can be yours at Darvish. Darvish, Rochester's largest Oriental carpet center, invites you to browse through one of the finest collections of Orientals ever assembled, and the prices are the lowest anywhere. Orientals, the carpet that has intrigued mankind for centuries, now can be yours for less at Darvish, the Oriental Carpet Center on Monroe Avenue.
You know what a car's transmission is, or how it works? Would you know how to fix one? Most people don't. They only know that if it breaks, it'll cost them. But if you know how to spot trouble early and get it fixed, you can save a pile of money. At Smitty's Transmissions, we know a lot about transmission care, and we're offering a summer special on automatic transmission tune-ups for $24.95. Our know-how can prevent a minor malfunction from becoming a costly headache. Smitty's, we're the transmission pros.
You'll be surprised. Yes, you. It's Love's Independence Sale. And this month you can save on the best seats in the house. Save $100 on sofas, $75 on love seats, $50 on chairs, in all styles and more than 100 fabrics. Surprise yourself at Love's Independence Month Sale through July 31st. Another tribute to Yankee ingenuity. Love's the best seats in the house.
Bob Evans down on the farm.
There's lots to do on a farm before breakfast. But when there's Bob Evans sausage sizzling, you don't mind working up an appetite. Bob Evans sausage is made from fresh, lean meat. Makes your mouth water thinking about it. And we limit the fat to give you great taste, not waste. You'll be glad you came to breakfast hungry when you take that first delicious bite.
Down the farm, we do it right, or we don't do it.
We're ready now for your calls. The telephone number is 334-0800. 0990.
With a follow-up to Phil Donahue, Phil presented the so-called gay prom couple, homosexual prom couple, on his program today. We're following up with two guests on AM Rochester who represent the gay community in Rochester. Tim Salley, Dignity Integrity Rochester; Sue Cowell, past co-president of Gay Alliance and also representing Rising Productions. Let's take some calls. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to make a comment on the Donahue show.
Yeah.
Now, there was a lady there who had made a comment on now having her children associated with gay liberated people. All right, now, what I would like to say is that I don't think it's fair of her to judge people that way. And, you know, people are people, you know. They have the right to make up their own minds as to what they want their lives to be, you know.
Okay, I don't think our guest will argue with you on that. You have anything to say, Tim? Or
yes. I do have friends that are gay, and to me, they see no different as anybody else that I do, you know, associate with. And I just don't feel that, you know, people should judge people this way, because I don't think anybody's perfect in the fact that, you know, they can be the first one to stand up and throw that stone, you know.
Do you have children, by the way?
No, I don't.
Oh, I wonder, how would you, well, this is hypothetical, but I wonder how you would feel, as some other parents question on the Donahue show, of having their children attend a prom where there were two fellas dancing together.
Well, that wouldn't bother me in the least, because, you know, if it was one of my kids, I could understand. Like I said, I know people who are gay, and their parents are very open about it. You know, as the fact that, okay, they were hurt when it was first brought up to them, but, you know, it's part of life, you know. You got to live with it. You have to understand it. You know, you have to more or less find out the different points of view, you know. You have to look at all sides. You can't just be one-sided on a subject.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Hello. I heard that there was to be a gay prom in the Rochester area, and whether it's occurred already or is still yet to come, I don't know. But could you have your people speak on this?
Well, in that school is out, I doubt that there'd be any proms, so it might have already occurred. Do you have any information on that?
Yes, this was a special event sponsored by the Gay Alliance of Genesee Valley, and it occurred this past weekend. And it was basically designed for people who did not make that choice, like the two men on the Donahue show, to go to their high school proms. And
who did you invite, Sue?
Myself, I didn't go.
Oh, who put it on? I'm sorry.
It was sponsored by the Gay Alliance of Genesee Valley.
And who did they invite to come to this prom?
Oh, it was open to the community, whoever, you know, wanted to go. And the basic route of advertising through members of the Gay Alliance and the Empty Closet Press, which is the
Was there a big turnout?
Gay newspaper. Yeah, it was quite successful, and it filled that gap. It was a different type of social event. It provided people the opportunity really to have a formal affair rather than usual coffee house type of Saturday night.
Did teens show up? Lots of young people?
No, it was basically, again, designed for people 18 and over because of the problems that we've talked about before in terms of reaching gay youth. The gay organizations, including the Gay Alliance, we've been very reluctant.
I would imagine you're very sensitive. Excuse me for the noise. I think our caller has left us. But let's go on to another call. Maybe we can correct that right away. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Matt. And
yes.
Good morning to your guest. I do want to make a statement. It's short. And the statement is that I do feel very deeply that our sexual desires and preferences are moral. I was watching the Donahue show.
Our what, ma'am? Go back over that again.
Okay. I said I do feel very deeply that our sexual desires and preferences are moral. And I was watching the Donahue show this morning with the two young gentlemen there, and listening to the guests that you have on your program. I find that
people are living with a new morality today that lets them do what they want to do, whether it's right or wrong, and usually 9 times out of 10 it's wrong. But I do also feel because of this new morality that we're having, that's dealing basically with our sex, leads to a great deal of problems with our young people and adults. And I also feel that it's one of the main reasons that our family structure is decaying today.
How do you...
I am a mother of 2 children, and I would feel very badly if my children, either one or both, you never know, would decide to have a homosexual relationship with a boy or a girl. And I'm not saying that I would hate my children, because this is something that I wouldn't want to do. I would hate what they're doing, but I would love my children, and I wouldn't try to support the homosexual desires that they would have. I would try to find out why they're feeling this way, talk with them, work with them in trying to straighten whatever problems they might have, whether they feel that they can't deal with a heterosexual relationship, find out why they can't deal with it.
Okay, let's get some comments. We get your point of view. Sue?
Okay.
Yes. In some ways, I do agree that it's a moral issue, but I think that we would probably differ in how we define morality. And for me, morality is it's more than just do what feels right and do what feels good. I believe that people do have their own direct communication with God, and that it's something that that I really have to decide for myself. And you could point to the epidemic of teenage pregnancies and say, well, the new sexuality is contributing to all these problems in the family, and I don't think you would find too many arguments along those lines. But I don't think that you can look at homosexuality and throw it into an area and say, well, all homosexual behavior is leading to problems with the family, because so much of it comes down to how the person handles each individual relationship, what kind of character does it bring out. For me, being in a homosexual relationship, I am a much more complete, loving, caring person because that's me. And I don't deny the spiritual part of my life. If anything, my homosexuality enhances my spiritual life.
Tim, I just wanted to repeat something that Phil Donahue said, and he said, how do you discuss morality when something is an unconscious action? I don't think many people, you said if your child decided to have a homosexual affair or something, I don't think a homosexual one day decides to be a homosexual. I think intelligent research has discovered that that's not the case. Tim?
I think what many people tend to associate with homosexuality, that it's just sexual attraction.
Wait a minute. Did you say you couldn't hear him?
Not very well, no.
Oh, we'll try to speak up a little bit,
Okay,
Tim.
I think a lot of people associate homosexuality with just sexual actions, and they forget that gay people are just as loving, just as caring as heterosexual people are.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, okay, I understand that point. I'm not saying that it's boom boom spontaneous at that particular time. I do know that our sexual desires, our feelings, our emotions start at a very young, early age, when a young individual is learning what's happening with their body. There is a lot of confusion. Children, they see so many different things on TV, in the movies, at school, and yes, even in so-called church organizations. And they are confused, and this continues to go with them as they get older. And they find not only that, they find other pressures that are facing them.
So sum it up, ma'am. I don't understand what your point is.
So what I'm saying is, it's not just one particular thing that would make a child decide, well, I want to be a homosexual. But I am saying, for me, that I do feel that it is wrong. And I know that people that are homosexuals, they feel that what they're doing is right. They feel that it's from deep down inside them. They've tried other relationships. They don't feel secure in those relationships. But like I said, when it came to my son or daughter, I would want to know why you didn't feel comfortable.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? I want to know.
We're taking an awful lot of time on this phone call.
Okay, but I'm saying I just want to know the deep reasons for doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can help in any way, yes, I will try and help. But as to support a homosexual relationship, no, I wouldn't do.
But you haven't been faced with that yet, ma'am. So you're just making
I do have it in the family.
Pardon?
I do have that in the family. And
how close to you?
An uncle.
Well, that's not really a decision on your part, though, as whether he remains homosexual or not, or what his alleged problem is.
No, it's not something...
It's different, though, when you have a child, don't you think?
Beg your pardon?
It's different, though, if it was your child rather than your uncle.
No, because I would love him just as much.
Okay. We've got some other calls coming in. I want to move along. Thank you. Good points.
Bye-bye.
You're on the air. Go ahead, please. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning.
Yes.
Matt?
Yeah.
I think that it's okay, you know, to be gay and all that. But this guy here, Tim?
Yeah.
Well, he's supporting a Catholic church?
Ask a question, ma'am. We don't know what your question is.
Okay, what organization is Tim supporting?
Tell us about your organization again.
Again, Dignity Integrity Rochester is an organization which reaches out to the gay community to help them reconcile their orientation and their Christianity.
I notice you're wearing a cross.
Ma'am, the Roman Catholics of this community, some of them, and some of the Episcopalians in this community have allowed gay people to enter their church to worship.
But that's hypocritical because in the Bible it says a man shouldn't lay with a man and a woman shouldn't lay...
Well, they're not laying together, ma'am. They're worshiping together.
I know, but even so, that's hypocritical.
Well, you're assuming something that you know nothing about.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, I'm straight and I have gay friends, you know, and it doesn't have any influence on me or nothing. But
so are they not to go to church?
I'm a pretty strict Catholic.
So what? They can't worship?
No, I'm not saying that. They could worship and all that, but
But you think the church is being hypocritical by allowing them to worship?
Right, that's what I mean, no. They could worship and everything. They could go to church and everything like that.
But what?
But it's kind of hypocritical going to church and everything and then doing one thing.
Do you think the church is hypocritical in this?
No, not in the least. As I said, the church is coming to terms with this problem that's existed ever since humans were on this earth. It's something that the church has ignored, shoved into the closet.
Well, I guess it has been all along.
And we're dealing with it, and that's the important thing, that the lines of communication are being opened and that there's human dialogue going on. And that's the most important thing to keep in mind.
I'm not against it if you're helping people. I'm for it and all that, but I was just, you know, I just turned on the TV and I didn't, you know, fully understand what your organization was for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the call, and we're out of time. We'll be back right after this.
Follow the action and suspense of a team of professional law enforcers as the rookies take on new dangers every weekday afternoon at 4:30, starting Monday on 13.
Don't miss Rochester's great Tournament of Drums, Saturday, July 5th, 8 p.m. at Holiday Stadium. In competition, the Thunderbirds, the Hawthorne Caballeros, the Renaissance, Rochester's Crusaders, and the world champion Reading Buccaneers. In exhibition, the Lockport Blazers. Tickets in the reserve section are $6. Pre-sale holiday family special. General admission tickets are just $2. Children only 50 cents at all J.C. Penney stores. Bring the kids, bring the whole family to the great Tournament of Drums at Holiday Stadium, Saturday, July 5th, 8 p.m.
Enjoy the comic antics of Tom and Jerry, the world's most popular cat and mouse team. Weekday afternoons at 4, starting Monday on 13.
Keep the spirit moving. Fly the American flag this 4th of July. A message from the Boy Scouts at Tishiana Council.
Tim Salley and Sue Cowell, our guests on AM Rochester, representing Dignity Integrity Rochester, and Sue is past co-president of Gay Alliance and also representing Rising Productions. We have 3 interesting booklets that I think some of our viewers may be interested in having. 20 questions about homosexuality, Dignity Integrity of Rochester, answers to a parent's questions about homosexuality. How can folks get these booklets, Tim?
Well, Dignity Integrity Rochester has a supply of these on hand, so if they would write to us or give us a call, we'll be happy to send one out.
Okay, I'll give 2 phone numbers quickly because we're out of time. Dignity Integrity Rochester for the booklets, 232-6521. If you'd like to reach Gay Alliance of Rochester, their phone number is 244-8640. We're out of time. Thank you very much for shedding some light on a very important topic.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back. There's more of AM Rochester coming up. We have some exercises with Bonnie and the New York State Department of Agriculture represented on our program a little bit later on. Stay with us.